My name is Carlee Clements. I've just been interviewed by Keith Andrew. He's an amazing person. Keep up the good work and make sure you follow him on social media.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. This is Season 8, Episode 701. That's right, brand new season of the Keith Andrew Network, Season 8, Episode 701. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Carlee Clements, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you so much too.
Now, the honor is all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove to them you can stem out to something. So hashtag break the labels. That being said, 27 minutes every time, a half hour, and you have as much time as you like. Freedom of speech, self-expression, it is uncensored. But remember, PG-13, but with knowing that, you have the complete freedom to say what you want. So the first question I want to talk to you about, and for people who want to know who you are an upcoming actress, and you are an upcoming model.
Yes, I am.
So the first question I want to ask you, again, ask you the easy ones and go to the hard-hitting ones. The first one I want to know is, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I love wrestling and playing Lego with my brothers. I really like making routines with my friends at school. And I love to dance. Also, I love rollerblading and skating around the house.
Yeah, that's really cool. I suck at roller skating. I walked down how many times I fell on my butt.
It's really.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
I have horrible balancing skills. I said to my dad recently, I want to buy a bike. I was like, oh yeah, we make room, get an exercise bike. And I said, actually, no, I want to buy a bike, but I want to put training wheels. I want to put training wheels on it. My dad said, look, you have enough issues. You don't have to advertise it for the whole neighborhood. But, it's true. Not saying I had, it's true I have issues, but I have horrible balancing skills. It's like, hey, why not make something unique? Why not make a bike? And this is just between you, me, and your mother. And if you take this idea, we go half on this. Make a bike for people with disabilities that say, hey, they may not be good at balancing, but they do enjoy a bike ride. So you make a bike, make it unique, not just for kids, but old people that have balancing issues. And think about it. Think how much money we would probably make.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
No, absolutely. And for our listeners, that's just our idea. And copyrights go to the Keith Andrew Network. And anyway, just saying that first. But the second thing I want to talk to you about is, what do you enjoy about school? I know right now the whole planet pretty much is in quarantine. How are you dealing with quarantine? Are you like climbing up the wall, or do you just go crazy?
No, not really. I quite like it. Homeschool. It's really fun because I can FaceTime my friends and we can do our work together, and we can do it at our own pace and we're not rushing or anything, and we can finish during the day and then have the rest of the day off. It's really fun.
No, absolutely. Now, what do you miss about school and what don't you miss about school?
Well, I don't miss that we have to do school for the entire day because you can just finish school whenever you want at home. I do miss seeing my friends in person and going to school in the classrooms, and yeah, and my teachers, I miss them too, but we can still FaceTime.
No, absolutely. Now, I wonder how I didn't ask this to your brother, so this is the first time I'm asking you. When you have a normal school day, like how many hours is it? So like 12 hours? Is it eight hours?
Um,
Like what time does it start and what time does it end?
6 hours. It's 6 hours for school. We get there at 7, 8. We get there at 8, and we go home somewhere at 3 in the
That's not
afternoon.
so bad. For me, when I was in high school, that's throw myself underneath the bus because now I sound old. When I was in high school, school started about 7:20, and it went out about 2:30. And so yeah, it's a long day, but it depends on what you're doing, what classes you have. You know, you have your lunch break, so you have an hour. Actually, not even that. 45 minutes to yourself. What were some of your favorite classes? You know, any classes you missed or enjoyed?
Well, I really liked library and performing arts because you get to have some alone time and read because I love reading too. I also really miss Cell because it's good for your breathing and it calms you down if you're stressed on that day.
No, I think everyone should do that.
Yeah,
Especially now, everyone's trapped at home. But
definitely.
for me, my favorite classes I enjoyed were, I was gonna say lunch, but lunch is not really a class.
Yes.
I would say sometimes gym, depends on what we're doing. I actually like study hall because that's 45 minutes of, okay, study hall, it's supposed to be study time. It's like your study break, but people use it as a hangout. I know I do. But there's other classes where I wanted to jump out the window because they were so boring, you know.
Oh,
His,
yeah.
yeah, I took history. I waited for my senior year of high school to talk about World War II because my grandfather served in World War II. I actually found out. Yep, we can talk about that in a couple minutes. My grandfather served in World War II, and his father actually served in World War One. You know,
That's really amazing.
no, absolutely. You know, my grandfather was stationed in northern Italy and northern Africa. He never talked about it, and I guess your mom would agree. It's a generational thing that people who were in wars don't usually like talking about it. But when my grandfather passed away, I got to see all the pictures. I saw the knives he had. I didn't ask him how he got the knives, but I can only imagine. Um, World War II generation was one of the greatest generations, supposing, right? Yeah, but that's what people say.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the U.S. or do you plan on going to the U.S.?
No, but my dad goes to the US for his work stuff, but sometimes he brings home stuff from there. I really want to go when I grow up. It's one of my dreams.
No,
And New York
absolutely.
and LA.
What do you like more, L.A. or New York?
Well, I can't really choose because they both have really great things about them. I really want to go to LA to be an actress, but I also really want to go to New York for all the Broadway stuff.
No, absolutely. Remember, like the expression, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Yes, definitely.
Now, the next question I want to ask you is, who influenced you to become an actress, and how many years have you been acting?
Well, I can't really remember. It's since I was a baby. as long as I can remember, I've been doing acting, but the person who influenced me to do dancing and singing is Ariana Grande, definitely. She's my favorite singer, and she's just the best. I watch her all the time.
No, she's really good. Now, I came up with a new script, so if I have my head's down, I'm not a normie. I'm just like trying to pick out a good line, but I have a bunch of them. I have like 3 pages worth. We will see how far we get. But the first question I want to ask you is, who has inspired you in your life and why?
My mom, because she's very good at juggling things around. She's just awesome. She's like a super mom to me, and she's the one who gave me life. So definitely my mom.
And you're not just saying that because she's in the room.
Oh, no.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, tell me about the proudest day of your life.
Proudest day of my life was when my brother came out of chemo. I was really happy for him. I think I'm about to cry. So it was really happy for me because he was stable and he could do things that other people could do. And he could go to school for longer periods of time. And I could actually do most of the stuff that I could do with him. Like, we could climb trees and we could run around and ride our bikes for longer times than he could before. So that was one of the proudest days of my life.
No, absolutely. It's a wonderful story. Now, for your friends and everyone you know, would they consider you a reliable friend?
Yes, I think, because they don't really, I'm very caring, and I think I'm pretty kind. They never really bail on me, ever, and I think I can rely on them too, because they can like not hurt me in bad ways. They're always with me and they have my back all the time.
No, that's how it should be. A good friend has your back, in the goods and the bads. You're not just here for the goods, and once the crap hits the fan, you're like, oh, see you later. They're going to stand with you no matter what. And that's what a good friend is.
They're not fake friends.
I can write a book on how many fake friends I have. Could be like the script I have. So the next question I was going to ask you is, what is your ideal work environment?
Definitely a quiet space. A fun place to be around, and somewhere that's not too loud or crowded. Just like, if I was with my friends, I'd have like 2 or 3 people in there.
No, I agree, but you don't also want to overwhelm yourself. You don't want to be like in an area where it's like 20 people, because so about 4 or 5 people will be a good number too.
Yeah.
And the next one I want to ask you is, are you reading anything right now?
Well, I did just do a secret job for a toy ad. I can't tell you anything because it's not out until October. But yeah, I did that yesterday. So I don't think there's anything else that's out right now. Books that you've read, yeah. Oh yeah. Also the books that I've read. Wow, there's a lot of books that I've read. So some of my favorite ones, I'm reading one right now. It's called Shout Out to the Girls. It's about a lot of women who stand with Australia, like a lot of actors and athletes, and a lot of people in the olden days. Then there's some other dancing books called Silver Shoes. I really love them. Sadly, I finished all the books. I kind of want to read them again now. It was really fun to read them, and it was very peaceful.
Now, do you just like read kid books, or do you read like I'm not like, say, hardcore books. I mean, like, something like along the line. For me, I like James Patterson, David Baldacci, Tom Clancy. Have you ever were interested in reading those type of books or not yet?
Well, I read a lot of chapter books. I really like David Walliams. He's pretty good and funny. But I don't think I've read very mature books for grown-ups. My brother have. Riley, he's read Wonder. But I haven't. I don't think so.
Well, if you're interested, I Am Michael Bennett, the I Am Michael Bennett series by not Tom Clancy, by James Patterson's really good. And
I'll try and check that.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to check that out if I can.
No, absolutely. And there's also TikTok and Animal. So I'm a big Tom. I keep saying Tom Clancy. I'm a big James Patterson fan.
That's really interesting.
Do you like Lord of the Rings or not? Actually, yeah. I was gonna say Game of Thrones, but Lord of the Rings came out. Do you like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones?
Well, I've heard of Game of Thrones. It sounds really good, but I don't think I've ever watched it before. My dad watches stuff like that, like Game of Thrones, but it's for adults, so I don't really watch that.
You're not missing anything.
Well, I have watched Lord of the Rings before. I haven't watched all of them. It's pretty gruesome, especially the one with all the wars and all the trolls and stuff. Wow. And I have watched Pirates of the Caribbean. Not all of them, but most
Have
of
you
them.
seen Jurassic Park?
Yes, I have. It's very good. My brother's a big fan of Jurassic Park. They actually watched some of the movies yesterday. I'm not that big of a fan, but it's pretty good.
Hey, if you can watch that stuff, then hey, use your meds. I'm not saying, when I was your age, I watched Jurassic Park. I watched Pinhead, Jason Voorhees. Yeah, I know it's a big generation gap, and generational thing, but I'm not trying to give you nightmares or anything. I'm just saying to reach your own. But don't worry, you have plenty of time to see those. They're not going anywhere.
Well, I kind of want to watch Percy Jackson. I think I'm going to watch that someday. Also, we watched a movie last night that was quite scary. I think I had nightmares from that. I don't want to watch that again. It was Mrs. Pettigrew's Home for Peculiar Children. It was not for me. I hated it. It was horrible. Very scary.
For me, the worst movie I ever sat through was, I don't know, when I was in school, I was forced to see Helen Keller. Wanted to cut my wrist during that movie. It was really bad. And
have you watched Shazam? Because it has like the 7, what's it called? 7 something. My mum, she used to work in a movie theater, and every time she saw a horror movie, she would clean up after in the dark, and she'd be like really scared. She'd clean up after all the popcorn and stuff, and she'd be like always looking behind her or something like that.
No, absolutely. When you see a scary movie, it's always good to go see with the lights on.
Yeah. Especially at nighttime.
The one movie that actually seen only once, I was curious about seeing it. It was like those 9/11 movies, the World Trade Towers or Flight 93. For people who've never seen them, I'm not going to say if once you see it, once is enough. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a scene in 9/93 where, they're fighting for control and everything. The last thing you see is the ground. I kid you not, I wasn't in the movie theater. My parents walked out, and when they stood up and everything, the credits roll, you could hear a pin drop. That no one made any sound. There was absolutely dead silence.
Oh, gosh. Well, I don't know why people like getting scared. I'm not one of those people because I just don't like getting scared. I don't know why people like that. I'm not one of those people. Definitely not.
I guess it's more like an adrenaline rush. You know, I don't know if they have these in Australia, but there's something called 4D. 4D is it's kind of like 3D, but 4D is you don't need the glasses. So, for an example, you're sitting in the chair. So, if it's raining, they will blow mist in your face, or if it's windy, you feel like your hair's moving, or if there's an
Oh
earth.
yeah, I've been to a 4D movie before. I don't know if it was Ice Age or something, but there was like water. There was something underneath the seat, and it was like grabbing my ankle or something. And then there was like air that was coming out of the seat, and it was making my hair all crazy. Yeah, I've done that before. Only once though.
I heard about them. I've never been there. Now, the next question I want to ask you is, how competitive are you? Say you're doing a sport, you want to act in role, you really want something. On a scale of 1 to 10, like, how aggressive are you? Well,
I'm not sure. Well, I'm not very aggressive like some of my friends. They're very competitive. But I think I'm about a 3 because I'm very nice because I play netball and like every time I'm like weaving through the people, I'm like, excuse me, please. And I'm like saying sorry for like bumping into them or something. But I do like to win.
No, absolutely. You know, for me, I would say I'm more like a 5 or a 6. You know, once I have my mind, or maybe a 10. Once I have my mind made up, I don't take no for an answer. I tune everything out and I go right through it.
Well, I'm very good at persuading people too because especially with Christmas lists and stuff, I'm like begging my parents for something and then finally they say yes and I'm like celebrating.
No, I'm going to pass the show over to you. It's the last 6 minutes and counting. Was there anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to ask me?
Not really. I think you've said it all. Well, I think I should talk about something about my dancing. It's very fun. My least favorite type of dance is tap. It's very hard. I used to hate tap, but I practiced a lot and I got all the moves down and now I really like it. It's one of my second favorite. My exact favorite dance style is definitely jazz because it's easy and it's upbeat. I love upbeat music. I also really like lyrical and contemporary because sometimes you can make up your own dance and feel the music through your body. Ballet's the hardest for me right now because you have to stretch your arms and legs, so you have to push yourself to your limit. And sometimes you have to push yourself over your limit and see what you can do. Ballet is one of my favorites too. It's really fun, but it's also really hard work because you have to train every single day. And if you don't train at least 1 or 2 days, you'll lose your ability to do stuff.
No, I agree. And you bring up a good point. If you're great at ballet, that can lead open other doors for you. You know, for an example, most people who do ballet are like gymnasts.
Yeah, I used to do gymnastics and I do acro right now because the difference between gymnastics and acro is not on beams or trampolines or anything. It's just on the floor. I like gymnastics best, I think, because I love going on the trampolines and doing flips. And I've actually got a gymnastics / ballet bar right there. It's really heavy. I can't really move it. But I think I like gymnastics best because it's very active and it's good for your health.
No, I agree. Now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And for the first time ever on the KeithAndrewNetWork, we're going to change up the formats. And this is for all singers out there. You know, I want to do something interactive with the guests. So for the first time ever in 7.5 years, everyone's got to see a live human pyramid on the show when we come back. And when we do come back, I do have one more question for you as well. So 701. I'm here with Carlee Clements. And now, with the last two questions for you, wrapping up the show, then we got to do a special performance for everyone out there. The first thing I want to ask you is, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter?
Well, I'm on Instagram, and my name is Carlee Cutie Pie. So if anyone's watching this and they want to know, it's Carlee Cutie Pie on Instagram. So check that out right now.
No, absolutely. And that will be on the bottom of the screen. And now, how I wrap up most of my episodes, I want you to be completely honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your honest first reaction? What made you say yes? And after being a guest, how do you feel now?
Well, at the start, I felt a bit nervous about it. I didn't know what you were going to ask. But now I feel super comfortable because I know who you are, and I've talked to you about some stuff that I don't really talk to people about a lot, especially about Hayden. Also, you're really nice and lovely, so I feel like I can tell you anything.
No, absolutely. That's what the KeithAndrewNetWork is about. Supporting a good cause, turning myself into an example for people out there, dealing with any types of learning disabilities, or if you're not dealing with disabilities, let me rephrase that. Showing people with disabilities and without disabilities that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's about giving yourself that motivation that you can give yourself a voice, and you can be the voice for the voiceless. Now, with that being said, we're going to do a special KeithAndrewNetWork live performance of a human pyramid when we come back.
And me, Carlee Clements, doing a pyramid, a human pyramid with just 3 people. Go right. Oh, how about that? Ow. No,
We've never done this before, Keith. This is the first.
Yeah. We support KeithAndrewNetWork.
And you should too.